Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Tasos Kilimos. Happy joining you guys for another edition of NBA Player Prop Parlay here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying your day so far. Hope you guys are enjoying your week thus far. Real quick, before we dive into today's video, I want to give you guys a special thank you to you, the people of the Guy Boston Sports community. We hit 45,000. That's right, 45,000 subscribers yesterday. A special thank you to everybody who is subscribed, who watches our videos, who likes, who comments, all that stuff. From myself and from Ev, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate you guys for supporting us, for helping us build this community. And we're just getting started. This is just the beginning. We're just getting the ball rolling here. We only intend to get bigger and bigger and bigger and better from here. So guys, thank you very much. We're now shooting for that 50,000 subscriber goal, which it's on the horizon. We're approaching it very fast. If you can, if you're not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button so we can reach that goal of 50,000. Again, thank you very much to everybody who watches, who subscribes, who supports our video, our channel, all the videos, not just mine, but mine and Ev's videos on the channel. We greatly appreciate it. So with all that out of the way, let's dive in. I got a two-leg parlay today that I want to share with you guys. So like I said, got a two-leg parlay. Again, I use DraftKings as primarily my sports book of choice. So the odds that I'm showing you today are from DraftKings. For the first leg of our two-leg parlay, we are going to target the Utah Jazz New Orleans Pelicans game, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We are going with Zion Williamson over 22.5 points for the first leg of today's parlay. And guys, as always, today's show is sponsored by Outlier, and I'm going to show you guys what Outlier is all about in today's video. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, I use Outlier and their data, which it's the best sports betting tool in the market. I use their data and their information to build my player props. And so the best way for me to give you an ad, not to do an ad or even tell you to try it and just have you trust me, I'm going to show you how to use it and how it's done. So switching screens here, this is the Outlier screen. Again, here's the Zion Williamson prop here, over 22.5 points. And you see there's so much information here, so much data on this screen. As the video goes along, you'll see more and more how useful it is and how many different things you can do here with Outlier. If you want to try this out for yourself, we do have a special link in the description below. It's a 7-day free trial when you use our special link. Make sure to check that out if you want to try Outlier out for yourself. 7-day free trial. I guarantee you will fall in love with this like I have. So over here on the Zion Williamson prop, we got over 22.5 points. I have that for minus 170 odds on DraftKings. There's a bunch of alt lines you can go ahead and check out, but I'm riding with the over 22.5 points. Now, in each of his last 10 games, he's only covered this 4 times, so it's not great, the last 10-game number. You space out a little bit to his last 20 games, though. A little better, 11 of his last 20 games, he's hit this 55% hit rate on the season for the big man. If you look at the head-to-head, though, this is where I really like the spot here for Zion. So each of his last 4 matchups dating back to October of 2022, he has hit this over of 22.5 points against the Utah Jazz. So really good numbers here for him. And most importantly, in the one time that these two teams played earlier this year, he hit this over. He had 26 points on November 27th against the Utah Jazz in Utah when they played. So he's already covered this season. It was a tight game. It was a 2-point game that Utah ended up walking away with the win. But he did hit this. So we have proof already this year that he can cover this line against this Utah team. And if you look over the defensive stats, it makes sense as to why they are bottom 10 in the league in points allowed. The Utah Jazz are giving up 119 points per game to opposing teams. And when you go a little bit deeper to the power forward position, which of course is the position that Zion plays, they are bottom 3 in the league, 28th. They give up 28 points per game to the power forward position. So great defensive matchup. And, Zion has a pretty good history in the last year or two of covering this number against this Jazz team. And I did want to show you guys one more stat that I think helps make my case on this prop. So this chart here, and this is one of the other cool many features of Outlier, is that you can put specific filters for specific scenarios to see what their numbers are in those scenarios. You can put like if a player's out, how he plays when he's playing the court, sharing the court with a certain player, all those things. This chart here is filtered to show only home games for Zion Williamson when they play in New Orleans. Of course, this matchup tonight with the Jazz is in New Orleans. And if you see here, in 14 home games this season, he's hitting this at a 64% rate. So when he's at home this season, he is covering this at a much higher rate than when he's on the road. He's a much better scorer in the comfort of his own home in the Pelican Stadium than he is on the road. And if you go to his last 20 games, now this dates back to last season as well, not just this year. His last 20 home games dating back to last season, 14 out of 20 games, a 70% hit rate. So Zion, when he plays the Jazz, he tends to hit this, and when he plays at home, he tends to hit this. So there's a lot of great data here that tells me that we should ride this over 22.5 points. And honestly, you could probably go a little higher. There's a lot of data here to show that Zion is in a good spot here to get this over. So over 22.5 points, that is the first leg of our two-leg parlay. All right, guys, now for the second leg of our two-leg parlay, we are targeting the Miami Heat Golden State Warriors game, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. We are targeting Bam Adebayo over 24.5 points plus assists. You get that at minus 195 odds on DraftKings. And when you go over here, back to the outliers screen, we have the Adebayo stats drawn up. I like this. Before I show you the numbers, I do like this for one key reason. The Golden State Warriors struggle against size. It's been one of their biggest flaws this year. They're kind of a smaller team, and they do not have a lot down low to deal with some of these better bigs like a Bam Adebayo. Before I show you all the individual stats here, the matchup stats here versus centers. Second worst team in the NBA in assists allowed to the center position are the Golden State Warriors, and they're bottom 10 in points allowed. They're giving up 19 points and 4 assists a game to the center position, and obviously Bam Adebayo being one of the better centers in the league, you got to assume he'll hit this average and go above that. It comes to centers, they typically struggle here, and I think Adebayo will have a pretty good night here with this matchup. Look at his last 10 games. 5 of his last 10 games, he's covered this over 24.5 points plus assists. Again, not terrible, not great, just about average. But head-to-head, each of his last 3 matchups versus the Golden State Warriors dating back to March 2022, he has covered this each of the last 3 times that they faced off with Golden State, which obviously is good for us. And when you look at the 2023 season as a whole, it's not bad. He's covered this in 12 out of 20 games. It's a 60% hit rate on the season. So he is covering this at a decent rate. But most importantly, the reason why we like this prop here is the fact that he is covering this in each of his last 3 times he played Golden State. So a lot of good data here for Adebayo here covering this over 24.5 points plus assist prop. But if I can give you one more piece of data to kind of sway you on this Bam Adebayo prop, where Zion Williamson has been playing better at home, Bam Adebayo has actually been playing very well on the road. In 7 of his last 10 road games here, you see he has covered this over 24.5 points plus assist prop. You see the only 3 times in his last 10 games has he failed to hit this number, which was against Minnesota, the best defensive team in the NBA, and the Knicks and Magic, who are both feisty defensive teams. So not all that surprising to see there, but Adebayo, again, having a great season. I think it's a line that he can definitely cover. And when you go over here to the right side of the screen, you will see what our parlay looks like. So 2 legs, you're going to get it at plus 140 odds on DraftKings. When you use DraftKings, now these props are only available on DraftKings, unfortunately. So if you're not betting with DraftKings, you're not going to be able to take these props. But if you are running DraftKings like myself, this is what you're going to get at plus 140 odds. Not half bad for a 2-leg parlay with guys who have been following these trends consistently. So guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. Again, thank you for helping us hit 45,000 subscribers. I will see you all tomorrow with a new NBA Player Prop Parlay. And until then, hope you're all winners.